I passed up one of these accumulator tanks in front of a house on my street, and I was thinking, man, I ought to grab that. I know exactly what I could do with it. And I procrastinated, and it disappeared. About 2 days later, another one showed up a block away, so I said, well, I guess it's fate. I got to go get it. So yesterday afternoon, I grabbed this, I don't know what you call them. It's like a bladder. It's to keep your little 12-volt pump from cycling so much when you just use a couple of drops of water and it comes on. These bladder things, they hold a little air pressure, so the pump runs during the day the same amount, but it won't have so many cycles. It'll run for a few minutes depending on how you set your bladder up. And yeah, I know it looks like a hot water heater, but I think it's going to be a bladder. I need to get it out. It's very heavy. I need to get out the truck and try to get some of the extra stuff off of it. So the burner and junk unscrewed from the little control box, and the control box unscrews from the hot water heater. It's pretty tight though. I gotta put the phone down and unscrew it. Probably just plug that hole. And then we gotta get the sheet metal wrapper off. Not exactly sure how the sheet metal comes off. And I'm not exactly sure how the legs are attached to the tank, which is in there. It doesn't really want to come off the bottom. It doesn't really want to cut off the top, but I don't want to save it, so I could just get the grinder and cut it. That'd be kind of messy. Keep working on it. So sheet metal up top is held on by these flanges, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to get those off, so I'm just gonna cut around with the grinder. Now this pipe has been cut off, which could be a problem, and getting another one on there far enough so it won't leak, but I can always weld on there. And I can weld a 1-inch. I don't know which one of these I'm going to use for a vent, but the vent only needs to be little bitty, like 1/2 inch or less. So anyway, I'm going to get this thing in the shop where I have a cord and cut the sheet metal, get the top off. Oh boy, definitely will need some cleaning out before I put it into operation. I wonder if our 2 hot water heaters look like that. They're 21, 22 years old. I don't know how old this one is. I can't tell. I think maybe, I don't know what year it is. It's old. Okay, I got over here by the cord. We're gonna do some cutting with the grinder. All right, it's naked. I cut the top to get it free from these pieces, and I think I'm gonna unscrew these. I think I can unscrew this. I think that's a threaded coupling right there and there, and then I can push them down because I don't need a full 3/4 inches. And so I cut the top and it came right off, and then I just cut a slit down the side with the grinder with a little wheel, and it came right off. This thing was in the middle. I guess that acts like a heat exchanger. It was down in the chimney. Now I'm gonna get a 7/16 wrench and take this base off because it has already a base on it, I think. Yeah, this took like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, quick and easy. Okay, I made a mess, but I have it stripped down. There's no more part. Well, that's not true. I'm still gonna unscrew these 2 nipples up here on the top. Although I don't really gain anything by taking this one out. I might leave it be, but I need to get the other one out because it's been cut. And I need to haul some stuff out to the street. The scrap metal guys will pick up the scrap metal in like 5 minutes. I don't know how they know, but they know. The other stuff can go in the dumpster. So let me clean up, and I'll get a big wrench and try to get that nipple off the top. Okay, this one came out easy. This one, not so easy. Had to put the torch on it, but it came out. Now this junk can come off. This, couldn't get it out. I mean, probably could. I'm thinking this was a pressure relief valve hole, which means it probably, I don't know. I want the opening that's the least amount of underwater, and I think it's probably that one. So I'm gonna keep trying to get that one out. And the one that's closest to the surface, so I can bleed air, is the only one I want. The other 2 I'll cap. So let me work on this some more. How about a little heat? More pookie water came out of it. Definitely gonna need to hose it out. I couldn't get it off. I'm scared I'm gonna break something. I had it hot. I was wailing away on it with a hammer, and I was scared that this piece might come loose, and then I'd be screwed. So it's all good. I'm gonna bring it in the shop. We're gonna put a coat of paint on it, and then I'm gonna decide which one of these 2 is gonna get capped and which one's gonna get a little valve on it. And the one on the bottom is gonna have to get a T. because I'm gonna have to be able to fill it with water, and then no, that's not true. I got this little valve that came off. I can put the valve here, the valve that came off, and put my water intake here. If I get too much water in it, or the water absorbs all the air, which it will eventually, but I don't know how many years that'll take, then I can open this valve and drain some water till it gets to the right elevation, and then close that valve, close this valve, turn the pump back on, and the pump will compress this air. It'll take a long time. It's just a little pump, and it has a maximum pressure of about 40, so there's no way it's going to blow the tank up. I just want it to run not so many intervals during the day. I would like to run maybe 3 or 4 minutes at a time, build that pressure and turn off, other than off, on, off, on, off, on, because that's kind of what it does now. So the tank is set up on a spit. I'm going to roll it around and get the rust off the top. It's hard, really, the side's still mill scale. I'm not going to mess with that. There's a little rust on the bottom, and I'm going to dig around and see what kind of paint I got. We're going to put a coat of paint on it and kind of seal it up, because it probably will be out in the rain, although I could lay it down and put it under the cabin, but I'll probably stand it up. We're ready to paint. I stuck a valve in these 2 holes, or 2 valves in the 2 holes, because every time I roll it, it will get more of that dirty water all over it. So that's just temporary plugs. I cleaned it medium well, and I mixed up a little bit of Tenemic Series 66, a lovely brown. That's what I have, and we're gonna paint it. Okay, it's been a week, and the paint is dry, of course. So let's figure out what I'm gonna do with the plumbing. And I want to cover this hole in the top, because that pipe through there probably has no paint on it, so I don't want the rainwater to get in there. Yeah, now we need to do the plumbing. So I went to Lowe's yesterday afternoon in Macomb. It's about 30 minutes away, and I was supposed to have a I was supposed to have like a 3-hour window of no rain. I was going to do this real quick. I got 3 80-pound bags, which I didn't want to get, but they were outside. And then it started raining, and it's rained pretty much nonstop all night long. And we have like a 2-hour window, according to my phone. I'm gonna try to get the concrete in here real quick. The problem is gonna be, it's not gonna be hard in the bags, but the bags are gonna be falling apart because they're wet. So yeah, I'm gonna dip out as much of this water as I can, and maybe get the wheelbarrow and bring those bags over here and flop them in the hole. Okay, so we have a little slab. Is it compromised in strength? Absolutely. The stuff was kind of set up before I put it in the hole, and we put too much water, etc., etc. And not only that, I didn't have enough, so I put a whole bunch of broken pieces of the slate in there. So yes, it's a little compromised, but it's going to do what it needs to do, is just keep this thing out of the dirt. And yeah, so now I got to go wash my truck before this stuff gets hard. This is probably why I didn't have enough. All these bags broke when I was trying to move them. So let me go clean my truck. And I doubt if it's going to set up enough today to set the tank on, but next week. Okay, so next week, concrete got hard. It's pretty ugly. Let's get the forms off and clean up, move this dirt around, and set our little tank. Now I know you can buy these little accumulator tanks. They're purpose built. They have a little rubber diaphragm so that the air does not get entrained with the water. So once you set them with the right pressure you want, theoretically, they'll stay that way. But they're small, and they could freeze. And our cabin is not heated in the winter. It gets really cold, so my only option would be to put it in the little closet with the hot water heater where the pump is. That keeps the pump from freezing, but that closet's already pretty small. And I just want to see if I can make one. So anyway, yeah, I didn't buy one. I know you can buy them. The cost of this, I bought one hose bib. It was like $15. Now I did have a couple of plugs, and I did have that weird stainless steel valve that's on top. But yeah, there's not much to it. And if you didn't need to, if you got hard ground and you could just set it on the ground, you wouldn't even have to buy the 3 bags of wet concrete that I bought. Stop recording. All right, that's where it's gonna go. I got the fill pointing toward the cabin. I have a 10-foot piece of PEX from the house. I need a T and my little tool. Let me see what I got here. I might have to go to Lowe's this afternoon to finish it up. All right, I'm under the trailer. I know this is the cold water because it goes to that faucet right there. I don't know, it's pretty warm. I need to make sure I got the right one. All right, hold on. Let me, I want to tap into the hot water, not the cold water. Okay, we're good. I need to cut that pipe. I can't hold the camera still. I'll cut it. I shouldn't get too wet. I turned the pump off and I bled the pressure. Let's cut it. And I got a T and I got my little rings. Should be everything I need. All right, we got the T in. You see how crazy all this piping looks? That's because that's what the inside of my brain looks like. Okay, piping's all hooked up. I'm gonna turn on the pump. It's gonna run for a bit, but we're not gonna start filling the big tank yet. Okay, now just realize this valve is kind of sketchy. So I'm gonna put some water in there, but I'm gonna, not too much because I may have to change that valve, which means I'll have to drain it. Anyway, open this valve. The pump should come on. The water is going in the tank. Probably going to take 30 gallons or more. I brought 25 from the house because it holds 40, but I only have like 300 and something. Whoa. Maybe I should just let it go. Ooh, that's hot. That's hot water. Okay, close this. All right, let's see if it quits dripping. Come on, baby. Okay, it does not. All right. So I'm gonna lose all the water I just put in there because I'm gonna change this valve. I'm not sure what I have here. Maybe something. All right. So I guess we're gonna take a ride to Macomb because I have a 1/2-inch valve, but that's 3/4. I don't have one, so we'll do good. That's okay. I always want some ice cream anyway. Got the new valve. Had a hard time getting the old one out, but I got it out. And we are filling. So I had to buy that valve and I had to buy that concrete. So I'm into this project like $27 so far. I don't even know if it's going to work. Of course, this stainless steel valve up here is probably about like $2,000. Whoa, did you hear that? The stainless steel valve up here is probably no telling how much this thing costs, but I didn't buy it, so it doesn't count. I do need to turn the handle around. So today is the day we find out if this thing works or not. I'm gonna check it. Water elevation. Okay. We are right here. I'm gonna run the pump for 2 minutes. We're gonna see how much water we make or we fill. So I'm gonna go to my timer. Clock, no. Clock. Stopwatch. Start. Now, if you're wondering why I wanted to hook this up to the hot water and not the cold water, if you've ever had a house that's been empty for a long time, or like a vacation home or second home, and you turn on the hot water heater and the water's really funky smelling, I noticed a touch of that yesterday when I took my shower. The water sits in the hot water heater too long, so this should pretty much drain the hot water heater, and then we'll have fresh water in the hot water heater. This water is going to stay in here. because it's on the pressure side of the pump, and it'll never go the other way. I don't think. I think it's just going to stay in here. Now, if I was in a bind and I had to have water, for instance, last winter, one of my plastic fittings froze, and when it thawed, emptied the tank. I had no water, so I couldn't flush the commode but one time with the water that was in the tank. If I had to have water, I could hook up the pump hose to this spigot, and I could have 25 or 30 gallons or 40 gallons. I don't know how much water is going to be in there. It'd probably be funky, but at least it will wash dishes and flush the commode. So it's kind of like emergency backup. It's kind of like the water in the hot water heater. There's 40 gallons of water in there, but it's really not usable because it's never going to be empty. When in a bind, I could put a hose to the bottom of it and use that water, but typically not. Let's see, we're coming up on a minute, 38, 39, 40, 42. I'm going to turn it off at 2 minutes. 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Okay, so stop. Let's take a measurement. All right, it's right there. So in 2 minutes we went this far. Let me go get a tape measure. Turn you off for a second. So it looks like we were pumping like 3 inches a minute. I want to go another 24 inches, so I got the timer set for 8 minutes. At 8 minutes I'll turn off the pump and we'll remeasure. In the meantime, I've got 25 gallons of clean water to put in my black tank to make up for all the water I'm using right now, because I have a limited supply, and it's enough, but it's not extra. I've noticed something in my old age, and I don't really know how to explain it, but I'm pretty sure that 5 gallons of water, it weighs a lot more than it used to. It's pretty strange. I like spiders. I mean, I don't really like spiders, but I like looking at their webs when they're cool. This one's very cool. So we just pumped for 8 minutes, and if my math is right, we should be 24 inches higher than that last mark. We're right there. And oh, way more than 24 inches. No, 25 inches. So, oops, I just smashed that spider web. I want to show you what happens, or how the pump has been working up until now. I got the valve closed, so the tank is not affecting anything. So this is why I am doing this. I want you to listen to the pump when I turn the water on. On, off. I was unable to really see the watermark on the white pipe, so I put some blue tape around it. I'm going to check it again. Okay, I think we're right here. We'll put a mark on the tank. Okay. So now, close this so we can hold air pressure. So right now we have no air pressure in the tank. I'm going to turn my timer on and see how long it takes the little pump. See how long it runs. That's a pretty good area to build up air pressure. Now it's not an air pump, it's a water pump, but the water's coming up and it's the air's going to compress. You can hear it slowing down a little bit, the pump, or I can hear it. That was it. That was only 24, that was only like 30 seconds. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. I can adjust it as we get used to it, or as I get used to it. So, this will keep the pump from cycling. It costs $25. It's adjustable because I can adjust how much air is at the top of the tank. And I don't think it'll freeze because it's so big. I might need to wrap the little valve with something when it gets really cold, but I think the tank's going to hold a lot of calories, so I don't think it'll freeze. The disadvantages is whatever air is up here. Disadvantage in this, whatever air is up here is going to gradually get absorbed by the water. So I'm going to have to adjust it now and then. But it's super easy. I just disconnect it from the pump. I can drain water, or I can open the valve and turn on the pump and add water. Just playing with the two valves. So I don't know. It's just kind of just for fun, but we'll see how it does. I'll keep y'all posted in a month or two. Now I got to put more jugs of water in the big tank. 2 weeks in, I couldn't be more happy with the accumulator pressure tank, whatever you want to call it. It makes the pump quieter because it's pumping against like a shock absorber, like air. The pump doesn't cycle so often. It's easy to add or subtract water or air, and I haven't done it yet. It's been pretty good just the way it is. I would like to get another tank, but that's another issue. But the bathroom is problematic. And I'm waiting for one of the family artists to paint the tank up like a minion. So my little bathroom, which is only 3 years old, it's time for a facelift. So that's a future video coming up. Thanks for watching.